Hello students, welcome back. Today I am Radha from Art and Progressive School, going to start another topic of the same chapter, reproductive health. So in this chapter we are discussing that how we can take care of the mother as well as the child during the pregnancy as well as after the pregnancy, okay, or just after the delivering. So we have done different topics under this chapter. Now we have completed in the last class what are the different contraceptive methods, because as we are taking care and we are giving good facility, so ultimately what is happening, the population is increasing. It means that IMR, infant mortality rate, and the maternal mortality rate, now it has been reduced as compared to the previous years. Okay, so due to that the population is going increasing and increasing day by day, and to stop or to stabilize the population, because if the population rate will be in the same graph, what will happen, there will be the population explosion. So for that there is requirement that there must be some steps should be taken by the people or by the government to stabilize the population. So here we have done different contraceptive methods, and it according to the ease of the couple they can adopt it. Okay, so here the last contraceptive method, which is the sterilization method. What is it? The sterilization method or the surgical method. In this method what is happening, that they are going for the permanent. It means that yes, they are 100% effective, okay, or we can say 99.9% effective, but what is happening, they are not able to reverse. Okay, it means that it is non-reversible. Why it is happening so? Because in this method we are cutting or we are incising or we are just tying it. So what we are doing it here, you will understand. The first method of the surgical method, it is the vasectomy. So make sure that difference may be asked, that what is the difference between vasectomy and the tuberectomy. Okay, so vasectomy, this method or this surgical method can be followed in the male. So in this method what is happening, that the vast difference, okay, we all know that scrotum is there, okay, and scrotum testes are present, and what is the role here, to form the sperms, right? So from here the vast difference which is going towards, okay, so here if sperm is forming, so in this method what they are doing, the doctors or the practitioners, what they are doing, they are cutting or they are incising or they are just removing small part of the vast difference. So due to that what will happen, that whatever the sperm they are forming here inside this, it will not be able to reach where, it will not be able to reach towards the penis. And if it will not be reached towards it, what will happen, if there will be any coitus, so what will happen, there will be no chances of the pregnancy. Okay, it means that there will be no, it will not be able to fertilize the egg. Okay, so yes, the semen will be there, but semen is what, it is a combination of sperm as well as the nutritious part. Okay, so whatever it will form, it will not be able to reach towards the female genital tract, and ultimately there will be no fertilization, right? So like this method we are using it, and it is known as the vasectomy. Okay, so in both the vast difference they are doing the same thing. These are the testes. Okay, so from here also they are cutting or they are incising, right? Then now comes the tuberectomy. Tuberectomy, what do you understand by this term? It means that this method applies in the female, same thing. Okay, so but if I will talk about the reproductive system of the female, what is it? Like this only. Okay, and from here ovary is there. What is the function of ovary? To release the ovum or to form the ovum. And now through this fallopian tube, what is happening, that after the rupturing of the Raphian follicle, this ovum will reach into the fallopian tube, and we know that in this fallopian tube there will be the fusion of male and female gamete. But if we will cut or cross incising this fallopian tube, okay, if we will incising this fallopian tube here, due to that what will happen, whatever the egg it will be there, it will not be reached up to a certain place where the fertilization takes place. Okay, if ovum will not reach here, what will happen, there will be no chances of fertilization. So by this method also what we are adopting, we are adopting the or we are preventing the pregnancy, and due to this what will happen, there will be no such population increase, right? So these are the two methods, but these methods, they are highly effective, and we know that what should be the good contraceptives, of what are the features of the good contraceptive, that they are should be highly effective, okay? And but the reversibility is very poor in case of this surgical method. So what we can say here, that in surgical method the reversibility is not that much, okay? So this is all about what, about the contraceptives, and we have done about the oral contraceptive methods, and we have done different other methods, okay? Now another topic is what, medical termination of pregnancy, which is also known as a MTP. Now what do you understand by pregnancy? It means that the fusion of, due to the fusion of male and female gamete, there will be the formation of zygote, then embryo, then there will be transplant, then implantation, and due to that there will be the pregnancy for the 9 months, right? So now, but in this medical termination, they are going for the abortion. It is also known as the abortion also, but what type of abortion? Intentional abortion. Why? Because it will be done by the, before the completion of term period. Okay, it means that before the completion of the 9 months, if any pregnancy get terminated due to several reasons, it is known as the MTP. And why we are calling it medical termination? Because it will be done by only the practitioner or by the doctor. Without the doctor, it cannot be done. Okay. So this MTP, why it is required? Because sometimes it happens that in case of female part, okay, sometimes those pregnancy which are not healthy for the mother as well as the child, so that pregnancy should be terminated. Otherwise what will happen, the life can be in a danger of mother and fetus both. Okay, so that's why there must be a law which can provide that there must be a termination before the completion of term period. Okay, so example is ectopic pregnancy. What do you understand by ectopic pregnancy? It means that sometimes in some situation the fusion of male and female gamete takes place here. Okay, and we all know that after the fertilization there will be the formation of zygote, and after the zygote, due to the several division, it will form the embryo, and then it will implant in the uterus. But instead of implanting in the uterus, what will happen? The embryo will get implanted in the fallopian tube only. So due to that, what will happen? The growth cannot take place properly. So that type of pregnancy should be terminated in between only. Right? So what we can say, that this MTP is required in some situation, but most of the people, they are misusing it also. Okay, just like the amniocentesis. Why? Because if they are getting any information about or detection of female feticide, so female fetus, so they are going for the female feticide, right? So here what we can say, the government of India legalized this MTP 1971, but with a strict action. But still the people, they have utilized this thing for misusing other female feticide. That's why after that there must be some amendment in the act. Okay, so in amendment takes place in 2017. 2 years are very, very important. What are they? 1971 and the 2017. So here under this again, if there will be any MTP, it should be taken a recommendation or suggestion from the medical practitioner. Without this, they cannot go for the MTP, right? So here the government is providing protection to the female fetus also. Now, so what can be the things? The first trimester, it means the first 3 months of the pregnancy, they are safe for the MTPs. Okay, what is it? First trimester is safe, and in that time only one practitioner is required, and second trimester is somehow unsafe, or sometimes we can say it is fatal also, right? So proper so many risks are there for this MTP. Still, if any problem is there, then any couple can go for the MTP, right? In some situation they are good, and in some other situation it can be bad. So we have to take care that whether we are using all these things, all these law in a good direction, right? Then comes to the another topic, sexually transmitted diseases. Now, when we are talking about the reproductive health, it means that there must be a proper care of all the things regarding the reproductive. It means that when we are talking about the male reproductive system or the female reproductive system, all they should be healthy. Then only the people will feel good or physically fit, mentally fit, psychologically fit. Okay, so now if I will talk about the sexually transmitted disease, it means that the diseases which can be caused by the sexual act. Okay, so it can be transmitted through the sexual intercourse. So in that situation, the condoms, they are very important. Okay, so that's why their role is very important, because they are protecting the people from the STDs which can be transmitted very fast. Okay, and once it has been in any of the person, so life will be very hard. So here another name of STDs are venereal disease or the reproductive tract infection. Okay, the infection which is happening in the reproductive tract. So now another question, very important, maybe asked in examination, what are the different STDs? Okay, what are the examples of STDs? So these are the examples: gonorrhea, syphilis, trichomoniasis, genital herpes, hepatitis B and AIDS. Now again another question may be asked, which of them STDs they are curable if they can be detected in the early phase? So these three are the one which cannot be curable. Okay, so genital herpes, hepatitis B and AIDS, they cannot be curable, and other of the disease, if they can detect it in the early phase, so they can be curable. Okay, so you must be knowing what are the curable STDs and what are the non-curable STDs. Okay, and what are the symptoms here? So if I will talk about the symptoms of these STDs, so here these are the itching may be there, fluid discharge, or there may be slight pain, swelling in this genital region. So it is required that of people, if they are suffering from any of the symptoms, so they can go for the doctors. Okay, they should suggest the things from the doctors that whether these are the STDs or what are they, because some infection later on can be increased. So like this, if this will be detected in the last phase or in the late phase, what will happen? They will give rise to PID, pelvic inflammatory disease. Once we are reaching to that disease, it will be very difficult to cure. Okay, so that's why all these symptoms, if it is there, it should be told to the doctors, and they will provide you proper diagnosis for this disease. Okay, and if there will be PIDs after several period of time, it will form a PID. So due to this PID, so many complications may be there which will affect the reproductive health of the people, and ultimately reproductive health of the person in various ways. Okay, so we can say abortion. Okay, if there will be any problem in the female reproductive system, so maybe in future, if this girl will attain the age of puberty or will attain after the marrying, it will not be able to get pregnant, or if it is pregnant, so maybe chances of the abortion here. Then stillbirth may be there. Then ectopic pregnancy, right now I have discussed that if there will be the implantation takes place inside the fallopian tube. And infertility, so after all, what is happening, there will be the infertility in the couples, and due to this they will not feel good, because if they are not having children after the marriage, so they will be disturbed in the psychological manner. Then ultimately cancer may also be there of the reproductive health. So that's why it should be we have to make aware all the people, all the childrens, that they have to take care of their reproductive parts from very starting, so that there may be no complication in the later year. Now, as we have discussed that there are so many reasons for this infertility. So here, if we are discussing the chapter reproductive health, so we are saying that it should be healthy in all the aspects, right? So if there will be no pregnancy or no producing of children after the marrying, so it will be somehow difficult for the couple. Okay, why? Because they are not feeling good. So this infertility is what? If there is any ability to produce the children even after the no use of unprotected devices here, so but we can say inability to produce children in spite of unprotected sexual practices. Okay, so even after the 2 years it is happening, so we are calling it infertility, because here maybe this can be done in the male or it can be in female. So reasons may be several here. So one of the reason we will study here, the congenital diseases. It means that due to any STDs or any disease which is regarding to the reproductive system, it can be lead to the infertility, or there may be use of drugs or any immunological disorder will be there in the body, okay, and some psychological effects. So all together they can be lead to the infertility, okay. So here we will discuss that how we are assisting those people, okay, because the aim of this chapter is that we have to fulfill all the aspect of the person, okay. So here, if any infertility is there in among the people, so how we can cure it, how we can detect it. So what we have to do, we have to assist them, okay. So that's why for assisting they are having the technology, because nowadays so many technologies are there which can be applied to the people those who are suffering from these disorders, okay. So what are these assisted reproductive technologies? It means that how this technology can help to those people which are not able to give birth to their children, okay. So here the first one AR technology is IVF, okay. What is the full form of IVF? In vitro fertilization. In vitro fertilization means that in vitro means that which is happening in the lab condition. Fertilization means fusion of male and female gamete. Now, so in this in vitro fertilization, what is happening? There will be the taken of the sperm from the male partner and the ovum from the female partner, okay. So in the lab condition, what they are doing, they are taking out the sperm and ovum in the lab condition, okay. So we know that sperm is there as well as ovum is also there. So whatever it is happening inside the controlled condition. Due to this, what will happen? There will be fusion, and due to this fusion, it will form what? It will form the zygote, right? And this zygote is what? It may be implanted directly into the female uterus, okay. So now, if I will talk about the female reproductive system, again I am drawing the structure, okay. Now, these are the ovaries and ovum. Now, in the natural condition, what happens if from ovary egg is releasing, it is reaching towards the fallopian tube, and from outside the semen is provided, okay. Due to this, there is a fusion, but in this case, directly what we are doing, we are taking out the egg from here, from the ovaries of the female, and we are keeping it here, and we are fusing with the sperms taken by the donor or by the husband. And here, as there will be formation of zygote, and we know that zygote is what? Again, it can form the embryo, okay. And as it is forming embryo from the zygote, it is undergoing different mitotic division or in the cleavage, right. So during the different cleavage, it will change the structure, okay. First it will form the 2-cell stage, then it will form 4-cell stage, then 8, then 16, then 32. Okay, so likewise, when it is forming these types of stages, what is happening? That these are the blastomeres, okay, the cells which is forming here. For example, if it is forming 2 cells, okay, so these are what? These are the blastomeres. Likewise, it will form when it will form, these are what? These are the blastomeres. So all these are identifying that whether which stages there. So as it will form 2, 4, 8 up to the 8-cell stage, okay, it means that when there are 8 blastomeres, and after 1632 we are calling it blastula, okay. So the mature one is the blastula, and below it it's a morula stage. So in this IVF method, we are providing the medium so that it can fertilize in the lab condition. As it will fertilize, we are implanting this zygote directly into the uterus of the mother, okay. But now this IVF can be of 2 types. What are they? It can be ZIFT or it can be IUT. What is the difference between these two? ZIFT means what? Zygote intra-fallopian transfer. Zygote means fusion of male and female gamete, which has been done in the controlled condition, right? Then intra-fallopian means that inside the fallopian. right? And transfer means transfer. So when we are just transferring the zygote into the fallopian tube, okay? So what we are calling it? We are calling it ZIFT method. And later on, all the process will remain same inside the female reproductive system. We all know that as the fusion takes place here in the fallopian tube, it will divide further, and as it will divide, it will implant in the endometrium lining, right? Second method is what? IUT, intrauterine transfer. It means that now they are going to transfer it where? Inside the uterus. Okay, so instead of transferring into the fallopian tube, now they will implant directly into the uterus. But when we are transferring into the uterus, it should be in the blastocyst. Okay, it means that number of blastomeres must be more. So we can say here in ZIFT method, when it will be less than 8 blastomeres stage, we are transferring it, and when it is more than 8 blastomeres, then we are transferring directly into the uterus. Okay, otherwise in both the condition, the main thing common is what? Fusion of male and female takes place outside the body as well as. Now in ZIFT method, directly zygote is implanted, because zygote is what? Which is forming in the natural condition in fallopian tube. That's why we are directly transferring into the fallopian tube only. It may be in the zygote or it may be more than zygote stage, but it will not be in the blastocyst stage, right? So what we have said, that when it will undergo more and more division and it will form the more than 8 blastomere, what we are calling it? We are calling it embryo. So here in this uterus, embryo transplantation will be there, okay, and in the fallopian tube, zygote and more than zygote will be transferred, and two methods comes under the IVF. Okay, now comes to the other method, that is a GIFT, gamete intrafallopian transfer. In this method, what doctors they are doing, intrafallopian means that now again whatever is there, it should be transferred into the fallopian tube. But how? Gamete intrafallopian, it means that now they are not forming any zygote in the lab condition. It means that if this is endometrium lining, okay, and what we are implanting in the fallopian tube, this is the endometrium lining. So here the donor female, it means that if any female will not be able to release the egg, it will not be able to form the ovum, but it is able to give all the environmental condition properly to the zygote. Okay, so in that condition they can go for the GIFT method. In this method, if any other female, they can give or they can donate their egg, right? Once they have donated, they will, this donated egg will directly, it will released into the fallopian tube. Okay, so what is happening? The donor one, it will give the ovum to the another female which is not able to form the egg here, and directly this egg is placed where? Into the fallopian tube. Now you can see the difference here. In the above method, the fusion takes place outside the body, but in this GIFT method, the fusion will take place only inside the body. Okay, but the condition is that if any of the female will not be able to release the egg into the fallopian tube, or if it will not form any ovum. Okay, so now once the ovum will reach here into the fallopian tube, other condition will remain same. The sperm will come from the male husband and it will reach into the fallopian tube and it will get fertilized, and later on all the steps will remain same here. Okay, only we have transferred the ovum from other female to this recipient one. Okay, now comes to the intracytoplasmic sperm injection. In this method, what they are doing, that intracytoplasmic, it means that directly into the cytoplasm if it is an ovum. Okay, and from other part we are having the sperms, right? So with the help of injection, what they are doing, they are placing this sperm into the cytoplasm of the egg. Okay, that's why we are calling it intracytoplasmic sperm injections. It means that sperm is being inserted inside the egg with the help of injection. Okay, so why we are going for this technique? because in case if any of the male will not be ejaculate properly, okay, or there will be no proper insemination inside the body, so they can go for this method, right? Now in this method directly they are injecting the sperm into the ovum, and once it will reach here inside the ovum, what will happen? There will be fertilization, and due to this fertilization zygote formation, then embryo formation is there. Okay, now once the embryo will form here, okay, so you can see the difference. Once the embryo will form here, it should be transplanted into the female body. So what we have done here, we have transferred this embryo with the method of IUT, because IUT method is what, in which we are transferring the embryo to the directly into the uterus. Okay, so here we can say that whatever the embryo will form, with the help of this IUT technique, we can transplant directly into the uterus of the female, right? So this is also the one of the method. Okay, then comes to the artificial insemination. What do you understand by natural insemination? It means that when the male will ejaculate into the female genital tract, okay, so it is sending its semen towards the female body. So this is known as the insemination. But if any of the male partner will not be able to ejaculate or inseminate into the female body, or sometimes that the number of sperms, okay, sperm count will be less. So in that condition, what will happen? The sperm will not be able to reach into the egg. If they will not reach into the egg, what will happen? They will not be able to fertilize it. So in this condition, we can assess those people in which there will be some problem in male part. So the husband or the donor parent, okay, it means that the male parent, it will give its semen. After we are directly injecting into the uterus or directly into the vagina of the female. Otherwise, all the process will remain same. It means that in female, every condition will remain same. Egg is coming from the ovary, but if this egg will not be able to receive the good amount of sperm, that there will be less chances of fertilization. So in that condition, from the artificial mode, they are inseminating here. Okay, so what is happening? The semen will get inseminated inside the female genital tract, and due to that there will be the fusion of male and female gamete, and there will be the zygote formation, then embryo, then implantation of the blastocyst. Okay, so likewise these are the under method. Now comes to the in vivo fertilization. In vivo means, in vitro means that fertilization takes place outside the body in lab condition. In vivo fertilization is that in which fertilization takes place inside the body only. Okay, so here the fertilization takes place within the body, and zygote formation also with the help of the ZIFT and IUT. So we are using this method for the ZIFT method as well as the IUT method. Means that if any other female is able to fertilize, then after it we can transfer it into the uterus or into the fallopian tube. Okay, so these are the methods which are related to the assistant, which we can provide it to those people, those who are not able to produce the children, right? Now along with this technology, because sometimes they are very we can say high cost. Okay, so most of the people or most of the couple, they cannot be so much financially strong, so they cannot go for this technology. So in that condition, what they can do, they can adopt the children also, because this is the best method, because both children as well as the parents, they are getting the motherhood, as well as children, they are getting the parents from the other part. Okay, so we can say that these methods are good. Along with this method, they can go for the adoption policy also. Okay, so now that's all for today. Thank you.